Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to the Prem Bhakti Chandrika series. Today we are going to discuss verse number 39. The theme of this verse is a prayer for removing the distractions or obstacles in devotional service. So the verse goes like this. नरोत्तम बड़ो दुखी नाथ मोरे कोरो सुखी तोमार भजन संकीर्तने अंतराय नाही आए एई तो परम भय निवेदन करी अनुक्षणे. So the meaning is like this, and then we will explain it. The prayer is Narottama Bododukhi. This Narottam Das Thakur is extremely miserable. Nath more karo sukhi. Oh Lord, only you can make me happy. Tomara bhajana sankirtane. By your bhajan and by your sankirtan, I can be happy. Antaraya nahi aaye. But in that bhajan and sankirtan, the obstacles are not going away, the distractions are not going away. Eita parama bhaya. Actually, this is the greatest fear of mine. Nivedana kari anukshane. Therefore, I pray unto you again and again, constantly. So let's see the details of this. Narottama bodo dukhi. Now, misery is the integral factor of this world. Anyone who is in this world is miserable. Of course, Narottam Das Thakur, being a Nitya Siddha devotee, he's always in the spiritual world. But as a sadhaka, he's praying, and so that we can learn that misery is really the integral part of this world. No one can escape misery, and there is no material solution to misery. So actually, Narottam Das Thakur is not talking about the material miseries here. The misery that Narottam Das Thakur is talking about is being forgetful of Krishna itself is the misery. And because of being forgetful of Krishna, the Maya is strangling us by neck. That is the misery. Narottam Das Thakur is not saying that, oh, I am materially unhappy, so please make me materially happy. That is not the prayer. Because the material existence itself is the unhappiness, cause of unhappiness. And the more we try to find out the remedies, the more unhappy we become, the more entangled we become. Something like somebody falling in quicksand. You know, when we are in quicksand, it's like the more we move our hands and legs to come out of it, the more we sink deeper and deeper. Only the help can come from outside. Maybe somebody can throw the rope from the proper grounds, and then we can hold the rope, and maybe we could be pulled out of that quicksand. So material world is like that. So Narottam Das Thakur is praying for help of Krishna, because Prahlad Maharaj says, we know that, Yasmat Priya Priya Viyoga Sanyoga Janma Shokagnena Sakalayoni Shadayyamana. It's not that even in demigod's body one is miserable, and one has to experience the misery of uh, of parting away from something which is very dear, or accepting something which is unpleasant. So one has to undergo that in any species. And dukkha shadam tadapi dukkha atadhyaham. And the more we try to find the remedy of that, the more we become miserable. Bhuman Brahmami Vadame Tavad Dasya Yogam. The only remedy I see is becoming your unalloyed servant. Oh, Narsimhadev. This is Prahlad Maharaj's prayer. So, similar prayer we see here that Narottam Das Thakur is praying that Narottama Bodo Dukhi, Nath More Korosuki. In fact, for a practitioner, the misery of this material world is good in one sense. It's a disguise. It's a blessing in disguise. Why? Because it pushes us forward towards Krishna. That we know that this is a mistake, that we are entangling ourselves in material world, and because of which we are suffering. This is not good. So therefore, it's a move forward towards Krishna. It impels us to take shelter of Krishna more sincerely. So, Natha more koro sukhi. So how can you make me happy? Tomara bhajana sankirtane. By allowing me, granting me your bhajan and sankirtan. See, bhakti gives happiness. Bhakti makes the heart completely happy. Savai punsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje. Ahaitukiya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Extremely happy, extremely satisfied. We can become only by bhakti. Because our heart is longing for a shelter, and the real shelter is Krishna, and the process of taking shelter is bhakti. So, actually speaking, bhakti can only give us Krishna. Bhakti can only give us happiness. Susukam kartum avyayam. So, in fact, the only thing that separates us from bliss and happiness is bhakti of Krishna. So, Tomara Bhajana Sankirtan, and in that also, Sankirtan is especially mentioned by Narottam Das Thakur because it is the prime limb. How? Uh, like Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that Bhajanera Madhya Shrestha Navavida Bhakti Krishna Prema Krishna Dite Dhare Mahashakti. Among all types of bhajan, Navavida Bhakti, starting with Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So this Navavida Bhakti is extremely powerful. In what? Giving us Krishna and Krishna Prem. तारमध्ये सर्वश्रेष्ठ नाम संकीर्तन निरपराध नाम लैले पाय प्रेम धन. So in that also, among 9 processes of devotional service, the Nama Sankirtan, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, or any other name of Krishna, Yashomati Nandana Brajavara Nagar, Gokula Nandana Kana. So any such names when spoken with all one's heart and congregationally or loudly when we chant, it is called Sankirtan, and it has immense potency to give us Krishna Prem, to give us Krishna's audience. So, because when we are chanting, Krishna is listening, if we are chanting sincerely. So, this is Narottam Das Thakur's prayer, and then he's saying that Antaraya nahi jaye. But the problem is, the practitioner doesn't have any other problem. His only problem is his bhajan is not continuous, or it is being distracted, or it is not intense enough. When Namacharya Haridas Thakur, whom Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared as the Acharya of holy name, he was on his deathbed and he was chanting uh, very softly. And Mahaprabhu says, how is everything? How are you? So Haridas Thakur says, my health is very good, my body is very fit and good, but my mind is not good. So in fact, it was opposite actually. So his body was uh, like very emaciated, but his mind was as spiritual as before. But he, in humility, he says that my body is very fit, but my mind is not in holy name. I cannot complete my rounds. Uh, so that Prabhupada cautions there that anyone who cannot complete his 16 rounds must know that the mind is in diseased condition. So, so Haridas Thakur is concerned that my bhajan is not very strong, not very intense. It's insufficient, and that should be always the driving force of a devotee's heart. That it's not sufficient. No matter how much I do it, it's not sufficient. Quality wise, it is not sufficient quantity wise. So that is the prayer. Antarai, what brings obstacle in one's bhajan? Mainly, it is Vaishnava aparad or any sorts of seva aparad or nama aparad that brings the obstacles in one's bhajan. Being inattentive. Interestingly, Prabhupada's handwritten list of offenses, 10 offenses, he puts sixth offenses not being attentive. Among the 10 offenses, he writes one of them is not being attentive while chanting. Usually we chant it as 11th offense, right? But here Prabhupada writes that it is one of the offenses to chant inattentively. That is one of the offenses among the 10. So, antaray nahi ay, so that antaray or another way, so that same aparad will revive our old bad impressions or bad habits of lust, anger, greed, and it will distract our mind from bhajan. It will force us towards sense gratification. It will remove any taste that we are having for bhajan. We won't feel like picking up mala. We won't feel like reading Bhagavatam. So then we should know that the antarai or some aparad has been has taken place, and I'm losing taste, and therefore one should uh, immediately become alarmed and pray to Krishna. Ei to parama bhai, that is the greatest fear. I mean, dying is not a great fear for a devotee because, anyways, he knows that he will get another chance to continue. But being distracted from bhajan or being lackluster in one's bhajan, that is that paramabhay, that is greatest fear. Because losing Krishna, we have already lost Krishna once. Now we don't want to lose him again. So, because we don't know when we will get him back again. So, अंतराय नहीं जाए यही तो परम भय निवेदन करी अनुक्षणे. So this is also interesting. Anukshane. So it is in Krishna's hands, it is in Guru's hand, it is in Vaishnava's hand to remove the obstacles in our bhajan. So therefore we are begging for their help. And anukshana, being always alert and cautious, uh, never taking chances with the mind, thinking that, oh, now my bhajan is smooth, now nothing will happen. No, until we go to the spiritual world, we have to be extremely careful about Maya. Patyur jayaiva punshali. Srimad Bhagavatam says that we cannot trust our mind. Mind is like a wife who has a prostitute like tendency to go after lust, anger, greed, like paramers like lust, anger, greed. And if you trust the mind, it will, it will, it will, what is it called? The mind will plan against us with the help of those paramers like lust, anger, greed. Plan for our killing our soul. So that is how dangerous it is to trust the mind. So therefore, being alert always. Bhajan means we have to the bhakti path. It is considered kshurasya dhara. It's like walking on the razor's edge. So one has to be extremely careful at every moment because Maya is waiting, mind is waiting. Like the little chance we give, the little loophole we give, immediately the Maya can enter through that and then destroy our bhajan and by that destroy our life. So therefore, we have to extremely be careful. No matter how much powerful one's bhajan is, one can never trust the mind. Always remain alert and always pray to Krishna that you please remove the obstacles in my life. And that is where we will conclude. So thank you so much. Krishna willing, we will meet again. Till then, have a very nice Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.